afternoon. Sorry. Good afternoon. Call the December Code Enforcement Board meeting to order. We will start. Everybody, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Not yet. We have to have our election first.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could just interject, I know you're missing 2 members today, so if you wanted to postpone election of officers until your next meeting, you can do that too if the board so chooses.
Anybody want to wait? Okay.
Okay. Sherry will put it on for your January meeting.
Great. Then y'all can stand back up again. Everybody who wants to testify today, please rise to be sworn in.
If you're going to speak, if you'll stand and raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Thank you.
Okay, any revisions or corrections to last month's agenda or minutes?
Yeah. It's on.
Oh, yeah. Well, last meeting. So.
Next meeting.
Turned it off earlier.
Or a motion to adopt?
I make the motion to adopt.
A second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Staff, do we have any revisions for this month's agenda?
Yes, I have 2 items that I am withdrawing. 6B, 1I, Samuel W. High. The case has gone into probate. The property has, excuse me. Second one would be 6B, 1N is in November, John Falkenhagen. It's changed ownership since the citation was issued.
Is that N? Yep, there it is.
I have one too,
Okay.
Chairman. Item number 5A, under unlicensed contractors, any number of plastering, failure to apply for demolition permit, they have paid that fine.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple.
Keep them coming.
Under B, request for a board order 1, case B, William Joseph Brown noise ordinance is being pulled, and case C, noise regulation is also being pulled.
B and C.
B and C, and then item F, Bayview Loan Services, Brian Seacrest, 2234 18th Avenue. The property is compliance and the fine has been paid, so it is being pulled.
Great. That's it. Tom, your first one was I, Venetian Apartments.
Yeah.
It's actually L.
L?
On page 3 of the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Tom, you're not.
Looks like an I, but it's an L.
It was L.
Got it. Okay, moving right along. We'll start with case.
I'll need a motion to accept, please.
Sorry. Somebody make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
I make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, case 15-CE-6138, Viking Tree and Landscaping Services.
Do you want to hear the cases that Attorney Bresney is here to represent in the interest of his time? I did.
Sure.
It's up to you.
Anybody have any objections to that? That's fine. That means we probably need to move down to John M. Norcus.
Correct.
Case 15-CE-5622.
Members of the board, good afternoon. I spoke to Mr. Siegel this afternoon, and you will hear from Mr. Ramsey Officer Ramsey that the Norcuses were in compliance within 1 week of issuing the citation. There was an appeal. Mr. Siegel will agree to the violation and ask for a time to pay the fine. As I said, they are in compliance. And if you have any questions for Officer Ramsey as to when they were in compliance, he will tell you that it was within 1 week of issuing the citation.
Could you explain exactly what the remedy was?
The remedy was the advertising for the short-term rentals, and then obviously renting for short-term. It was brought to Officer Ramsey's attention that there was advertisement for this particular property as being rented weekly. He did some proactive investigation, actually spoke to the folks who were there, saw that it was being rented weekly, and was in fact told by the owners who live in another state. He was in contact. They said they didn't know. They fixed it. They did remedy within the time frame of those folks leaving and have not done so, have not rented it as short-term since then.
Now, my next question would be, in cases like this, and not necessarily this one, but do we have follow-ups? Let's say in 6 months or a year or whatever?
Well, I could tell you that obviously would be up the code enforcement officers' proactive investigations, and I'm sure that they're not going to disclose exactly how they investigate certain properties, but I can tell you that obviously that they actively investigate and look for these things within the city.
Okay. I thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we probably need to hear from Mr. Siegel. If his client is not going to further contest the citation, we need to hear that. Otherwise, Nick will need to put on a full prosecution case.
Barry Siegel, I represent Robin and John Norcus, and they're not contesting it any further. So, and there is no actually active appeal, as indicated on the notice of hearing by my clients this time. They would ask for some kind of remedy with regard to, or some relief from the fine, if possible. But as far as the actual underlying citation, there's no issue there.
Question. What is the amount of fine as it presently stands?
500. 500.
Thank you.
And is there enforcement costs that were requested?
No, I've waived the enforcement costs.
Do you have a recommendation for us?
Paid in full within 30 days.
Are you speaking of the 500?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Further questions?
I would just ask the board to also add that if it is not paid in full within 30 days, to assess a $500 penalty per day beyond the 30 days if not paid in full.
Would you like that in the form of a motion?
Well, they really wouldn't be able to do that for just non-payment. It would have to revert back to whether or not there was a continuing violation.
And the only reason I asked that would be obviously compliance being twofold and paying the fine. So,
yeah, I mean, if we're doing this and if the board is imposing a $500 penalty, that ends the case. If there's a new violation, obviously that would be brought as a new violation.
Sure. Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we penalize this particular person a sum of $500 to be paid within 30 days.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries. Is there any more of those? Let's go back up. We'll go back to case 15-CE-6138.
Actually,
Wait, we're going to do...
Nick and Mr. Siegel had the next case, Irene Snyder. If we can dispose of that, then both the gentlemen can leave.
All righty. We'll move down to 15-CE-5681.
Good afternoon again. This is a little different. We obviously were here previously on this case, I believe back in October. It's October 14th, and this board found Ms. Snyder in a continuing violation. However, the board order did not reflect a penalty to be assessed until there was compliance. So Ms. Sanderson is here, and we do have a copy of a single lease with all individuals signing on that single lease. However, that lease was entered on the 18th, which is 4 days after this board's order.
So she finally got the right form of lease to satisfy the city manager.
Well, yeah, as you recall, there was some previously with there being multiple leases, one individual on each separate lease, which kind of thwarts the underlying purpose of the boarding house provision. So we would be asking that the penalty be assessed for the 4 days of noncompliance beyond this board's order. Again, we're not here to re-argue the issue. This board already ordered and found that the property was in continuing violation as of October 14th.
So now they're in compliance.
They are as of October 18th, yeah.
And the penalty would be, is that
Would you like to-
$500 a day?
No.
Well, I absolutely. I mean, obviously, Mr. Siegel would have an opportunity to present anything to the board, but
No,
yes,
but
we
my
would be
question is
requesting that. That's what is being
Follow
requested.
procedure here.
Okay, sorry.
Get to all that.
Okay.
Initial and continuing?
Good afternoon again. Barry Siegel on behalf of Irene Snyder. We'd be requesting that there not be a fine on this matter at all. I mean, she is obviously immediately in compliance. There was issues with the compliance. It was, far from an open and shut case before the contested votes with it. We're certainly not here to reimpose that argument or to discuss that again. But I think the reason why a fine may not be necessary is Ms. Snyder is not a woman of means. This is a practice that she's been doing for decades at the home. Nothing has changed before this new lease was signed. Nothing has changed since before any of the written leases were put in place when Mr. McGarry discussed with her. I mean, everything is still in existence. So I don't know that this is the type of violation that necessarily is the fine is designed to prevent and protect society against. I mean, there's you drive by this house today, and it's the same as it was yesterday, as it was before the fine, before the board changed these provisions, before any of you ever even served on this board. It's nothing is there's no difference. And so again, it's a paperwork issue, and my client was trying to be in compliance with what she did. She came to a lawyer to represent her, to help her with this matter. I just don't think that this is the type of matter that would necessitate a fine, and it's not the kind of behavior that you're trying to correct with a fine. And so we're asking that the board waive the fine given the compliance, so immediately after the final order.
May I ask my question now?
Who's your question of?
Well, my question is what would the daily fine be for the 4 days, each of those days?
The initial civil penalty was $500, so it would be a $500 daily fine.
Times 4?
Correct.
And it is in the board's discretion to modify those amounts. It's in the board's discretion to modify those amounts. Back on August 28th, in your backup, you should have seen also the board had entered a previous order of ordering correction and giving 30 days to correct. And if it was corrected, the $500 initial penalty was going to be waived. She did go a little past that, roughly September 28th. So it's just something I thought I'd point out to the board. Okay. You did previously consider waiving the fine.
Well, before I go any further, from what I can glean, the initial warning was sent out in November of 2013. Here we're almost in 2016. So, I mean, to hear the words, it was followed up quickly. If somebody could change my mind by giving me a timeline how this all occurred, I'd be happy to listen. But 213 to 215 and almost 216 is a stretch to me to rectify a problem.
And honestly, that was one of my intentions for coming up here and giving a rebuttal when I heard the expression that it was remedied immediately. Not only so you were referencing the warning, but the code enforcement citation was in fact issued in April 24th, 2015. The fine was ordered to be paid in the citation to be paid by May 27th and corrected by June 23rd of 2015. We're well beyond that into October of 2015, October 18th, when in fact there was a correction made. So certainly the $500 a day penalty, and really it's only being assessed for 4 days beyond this board's order. It's not being assessed for every single day since May 27th, 2015, when the fine was not paid and it was ordered to be paid.
I think she made several attempts to comply. There was just poor communication between her and the city. She obviously made several, or went through several steps with different versions of leases, and the intent was there, I believe. And to punish her for 4 days.
I have a question. If this is allowed, these type of situation, what sort of precedent are we setting?
Apparently this is legal. Is that correct?
This lease is in compliance, and if you recall, that was really what was at issue was the boarding house, and there was an interpretation requested from Mr. McGarry, who informed Ms. Schneider that she would need to have all tenants on a single lease to avoid having a tenant just renting one bedroom on their own and having access to only that bedroom, and then having common areas in which they shared, but each individual wasn't allowed into the other's bedroom. And certainly there are going to be issues with enforcement that you can never determine whether or not 100% whether each person has access to another person's bedroom, and I think that's what was argued previously. But in achieving what was intended by the law and by the ordinance, this is the most effective way of enforcing that. And again, we're not here to argue whether or not there was a violation or wasn't a violation, and Ms. Anderson, I believe, will also tell you that they're satisfied with this particular lease as being in compliance.
Well, if I may give my opinion, I think we should go for the 500 times 4, but I certainly would give her more than 30 days to do that. I would suggest a payment schedule to do that. I don't want to hit somebody for $2,000 in 30 days, but a reasonable amount of time.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Unfortunately, the code says that it needs to be paid in 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be paid within the appeal period.
I see. Okay.
And just so we're clear, it's what's requested is actually $2,500 because it's the initial $500 citation and then 4 days for noncompliance beyond the date of this board's order.
Anyone? I'll make a motion that there was a violation, and the violation's been corrected, the property's now in compliance, and that the initial civil penalty of $500 be paid and no fine. Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sherry, you want to call?
Mr. Whitall?
Aye.
Mr. Pizzuchello?
No.
Mr. Bryant?
Yes.
Ms. Shell?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Passes 4-1.
Alrighty.
Could we go backwards just for a clarification? I'm sorry, I was hasty in pulling the noise ordinances. Those did
Yes,
not.
we're going to go back.
Okay, those are not pulled from the agenda. Please hear those two.
Okay.
The one, just
The
one.
one. Okay.
That's the 1B.
Item C.
Oh, C. B is noise too. We still got to go back to this other one. Viking Tree and Landscaping Services, 15-CE-6138. I think he's here.
Requesting a board order for 15 CE 6138. The violator, Brian Rutherford, Viking Tree and Landscaping, was cited for the removal of 2 specimen oaks at 2076 Navarra Avenue. Citation service was provided by hand delivery to Mr. Rutherfordton on October 28, 2015, and a certified mail was also delivered, and documentation is provided with the city clerk. Mr. Rutherford has requested a hearing on the citation and is here today. The violation has not been corrected as of 12/9/15 by applying for a tree removal permit. Large tree trunk limbs and debris were left in the road and on site. Mr. Rutherford was advised on 10/28 the debris needed to be removed from the road as quickly as possible for safety reasons. The debris on the street was not removed, and due to the safety concerns, the city crew removed the debris from the road and a cost of $141.38, requesting that those costs be paid by Mr. Rutherford. An invoice for those costs are on file with the city clerk. If the board finds a violation does exist, request the board authorize an issuance of a board order in this case for the initial penalty, continuing penalties for the days the permit was not applied for, mitigation if required and determined by the planning department, and a cost to remove the debris from the road by a city crew.
So the 14138 includes your cost of prosecution and the removal of the.
Just the cost to remove the debris from the road.
Okay. Do you have cost of prosecution?
We are not asking for cost of prosecution. Mr. Rutherford is here today, and he will provide testimony.
Yeah.
Were you sworn in, Mr. Rutherford?
Yeah. What do I?
Were you, or do you need to be?
I think he came in
Okay.
late after everybody
think
was
so.
sworn in.
Okay, if you'll just raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I don't own the business. My wife owns the business. I was called out to that residence to, I guess, oversee some of the guys that were working there. Miss Folsom, that owns the property, said that the trees were falling on her house because they're decaying and had a bunch of mistletoe. I didn't know I was responsible for the fines, or just, that I was supposed to get a permit. I'm from Destin, Fort Walton Beach, just moved down here. Again, I don't own the business. I didn't know. And Virginia, the lady that owns the house, said that she was going to take care of removing the debris. From what I understand, the last conversation I had with her, within that week, she removed it all and said that she was paying for all that, and that was it. And that's all we.
Did you have a contract with her?
We did write an estimate, and she did pay a little bit, but she withheld what she was using to remove the debris, and
I think that was in your backup.
I didn't receive any income or anything from her.
Are you licensed in this county to have this business?
I'm not licensed. It's Jessica's, my fiance. It's her business, and we have a business license. It's just she had a couple guys out there. I don't know what was going on. I
But
went
you
out
were-
there to oversee.
You were there in a supervisory capacity,
Yeah.
but you didn't really know.
I didn't know that there was supposed to be a permit for removing the trees that, that Miss Folsom wanted removed. So I was just there to help out, and I got called there, and I had a violation printed and with my name on it, and
How long has
so I don't know.
Jessica been in business here?
She got the business license. It's only been a couple months, and she teaches
July
at
23rd of 2015, she obtained the county business license.
Yeah, July 23rd. Is that what you said?
And is it a tree removal business or landscaping service? I see.
Tree and landscaping, yeah.
Okay, so in that type of business, she would know the laws, right, about cutting down trees?
She doesn't. We just got the business, and Virginia said that she got our number from a friend and called us, and I don't know. I really didn't have.
Jessica doesn't work in the business, right? She
No,
teaches.
She teaches at Dodgertown, so it was. We were just helping Virginia, and we didn't know. Jessica didn't really know. I didn't. I just moved here,
Well, that may be the case, sir, but I'm looking at these pictures. They are in the right-of-way partially, and everybody knows you can't put anything in the right-of-way.
The right of way is
The street, and maybe what would be considered a path or a driveway. I'm looking at these pictures, and, I mean, anybody with the least common sense wouldn't put anything there in the roadway.
But what the violation is cutting down the tree.
Yeah, we're not.
I understand that. But it just shows to me an overall picture of disregard.
I don't know what pictures the pictures I have. It's just they're getting removed, and that looks like, yeah, I see what you're saying. But they were getting removed from waste department within that week, and there's cones. So I don't know.
Is this
Our ordinance says that licensed contractors must remove, even if it's a tree or any type of contractor.
It's very clear.
So
Right.
yeah, that was
This is one case where it's really clear.
Right. We
It needs to be
requested that
understood.
he remove it. It was not removed, and a city crew removed it. The additional tree debris was removed. She hired another company, like Jimmy's Tree Service or someone, and they came in and finished the cleanup after it was pushed back by our crews to get it out of the road.
Since there was no contract,
And Jimmy's.
should we have cited
Jimmy's
the
or somebody
property
like that?
owner? Or?
Yeah,
Johnny's?
she called somebody. I don't know.
Yeah,
a
I
couple
think-
people. I don't know.
Johnny's
There's
tree
this
and removal.
estimate attached, but then there's some writing on it
Many
about
people.
what was
I don't know.
paid.
What'd you say?
Is this a case where maybe we should cite the property owner
Well,
since she obviously hadn't paid the guy what had come in? And,
Well, the only thing is, I mean, obviously, a contractor doing this kind of work better know the laws
Oh,
and
I
comply
agree.
with them.
Exactly.
So this person, what they did, they cited the company that was doing the work. So
But then there's
that's
Jimmy's and Johnny's that came in. They were doing the work too, and we're cleaning up.
I think they had to pick up after what you left on the ground, couldn't haul away.
Yeah, we didn't. She said she was going to get rid of it all, and I didn't know. And
that's not really an issue. The issue is the permit and the mitigation
Right.
for the trees that
Right.
you cut down.
And she,
And the tree that I see, what's left there, it looks like it's a pretty hardy oak tree.
Was.
two.
You know,
remember
I remember it too, and I remember driving down the road and having to go around you guys while you were working. But I didn't know that you did not have a permit at the time. How far away is that oak tree from their house?
it was on the house,
Okay.
like where it planted. You talking about the base of the? It's probably 10 feet. So that big of an oak, and it had mistletoe and just a bunch of stuff from when I stopped by.
Well,
Jess
to cut
said-
to the chase, you do admit that you needed a permit and you didn't get one. Am I correct?
Now that I know, when I was
Okay.
called to the property, and I don't, with my name on this violation, when I don't own the
Okay,
business.
so
and-
we do know that the tree was cut down, and there was no permit, correct? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yes, yeah.
Thank you.
But is it Virginia? I don't know. I was called to the residents, and I don't even own the.
Why isn't Jessica here?
Yeah,
She's the
it's
owner
not
of the
him
business, right?
personally that's liable. It's the business, right?
it was written against the business,
Yeah, so-
and
It
but
was-
it does mention Brian and Jessica's name too. I mean, what was the reason for that? Are they listed in the corporate records?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She's listed, and because he was the one on site, and he's
I got called there. That's why. We live at the same place. Like, I don't know. She teaches, and
Yeah, so it's
We don't
against
make-
your business, not you personally. I know there's
Yeah.
probably not a big difference there, but
yeah, we have a little baby. I don't know. I just wanted to come and clarify everything. $1,000 is pretty hefty, and we didn't know. Sorry. I don't know what to say or do.
the only problem I have is that you didn't really make any move to rectify it even after you knew something was going on.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys are very accessible and they're
I've left. I have a couple of voicemails to her, and then Virginia said that she was removing everything, and it was removed within
Well,
that week.
The
part
remaining-
of the permit.
Yeah, the remaining
did
issue
you
is
make
a-
application for permit.
What was that?
Did you make application for tree removal permit?
I didn't, because I was just called to the
Did
residents.
this Jessica?
And no.
Okay.
I mean, it still needs correction by mitigation
Yeah.
and getting the permit.
So are you saying there's still no permit for this?
no, it's
Not
still,
that
even
I
after
know
the
of.
fact.
I don't-
Okay.
I don't own the business. I don't.
Okay.
My name's on this violation. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I hate to be the guy to say this, but I'm going to make a motion that you be fined $1,000.
And
You need to have a little more
we
detail
need to
on that.
order compliant to be corrected by the permit and mitigation as required by the code.
That's a lot of wording. And I also would make the motion that we're in compliance.
No.
No.
No, I think what you're trying to say is you're going to impose the initial $1,000 civil penalty.
Right.
I think they've asked for a cost of $141.38.
Okay.
And in addition to that, order correction within a set amount of time. Typically, you would give 30 days to correct by obtaining the permits and taking care of the mitigation that's required.
Now, would the homeowner
That's
be
what you
looking for
meant,
the
right?
permit, or would the
No,
company?
it's who was cited.
Based upon the facts presented, see if I get this motion correct, please. I recommend that we impose a $1,000 fine, $141.38 penalty to be corrected within 30 days. Is there
By
anything?
applying for an after-the-fact tree permit and working with the planning department regarding mitigation.
I didn't hear the first part of that. Could you say it again?
In addition, an after-the-fact tree permit must be applied for and working with the planning department to determine mitigation.
Okay. You must obtain an after-the-fact permit and work with the department to mitigate this situation. That's my motion.
Second.
Moving and second, all in favor?
I'm saying,
Aye.
Aye.
So what does the homeowner need to do, or like she planned, or I don't know what's going on. Like,
I'm
so
not
you guys
sure.
want me?
Not sure what to tell you. There.
You need
She
to
wasn't
you need to
cited.
work with the code enforcement
Yeah.
officer. She'll help you figure out what needs to be done.
So you guys are just want me to pay $1,000 and get a permit?
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay.
And what I think you have to do, you have to go into a separate contract with the owner to install the mitigation back, the new trees, whatever the planning department here desires
Okay.
to replace that beautiful oak that was cut down.
2 oaks.
2 oaks.
Okay. All right. So that's it, I guess.
Yeah, you need to get in touch with Officer
Yeah, why
Sanderson.
don't we, while you're here in City
Yeah.
Hall, why don't you go upstairs to the planning and get the application for a tree removal and start that? The homeowner will have to sign it.
Okay.
So are you comfortable dialoguing with her, or would you like us to arrange a conference for all of us to sit down?
And I'll talk to her, I guess, and see what she wants to do.
You can go to the city clerk's and...
Where's that at? I don't know.
Pick them up.
Thank you.
I'm getting all confused with the agenda here. I think we'll wait till she gets back.
Yeah, no. What are we up to?
I think it should be.
absolutely, because she knows.
Done A2, right?
Yes, we did. A2.
We're still
They might
skipping
wanna
B.
bring in
Okay.
these
B,
other
gotcha.
2 noise.
Celia's Melody's case, right?
If you want to go
Which
ahead.
one's your next one?
Yeah.
D?
Sure.
Oh, E, F, G, okay.
G.
We'll skip down. 15-CE-6034, John Anthony Laporte.
Case numbers, 15 CE-6034, citation number 0756T against John Anthony Laporte / Trevor Laporte. Is here. I'm requesting a board order, a citation of $50, cost of $48.45. While on routine patrol driving around, I was flagged down. It was brought to my attention that construction was going on at the home. I went by the home, saw a significant amount of trash and debris, construction trash and debris in the driveway, to include bathtubs, drywall, sink, countertops, things of that nature. I tried to make contact with the owner at that time. No one was home. I issued a citation for construction without a permit and the trash and debris. Prior to the date needed, he did comply by moving the trash to the rear of the property and out of sight behind fence. However, no permit was ever obtained. And speaking with him today, he will explain his side, but he states he was given that trash and that he was, in fact, not doing the work.
Correct. Yes. How are y'all?
Excuse me, were you sworn in?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened was I had just recently bought property at River Ranch, and my buddy needed a trailer, which I had a trailer in my truck. So in return for getting some materials for my property at River Ranch, I told him I'd help him move the stuff. I'd take all the stuff to the dump, and in return for give me tile and sink and a toilet for the cabin we're building out west. So in return, I got supplies for my property to take out there. And when I got all the stuff, I found out the dump's going to cost me $60-something bucks to drop it off, which I didn't have the money at the time. So I ended up just dropping it off in my driveway, took the materials I needed to River Ranch, dropped it off, and then ended up about a week later I got the citation and got it done as fast as I can, cleaned it all up, and got it moved to the backyard. And still got some stuff in there I want to take out there, so I haven't fully gone through everything, but kind of just something I'm working on my camp out west of town for. There was no construction going on at my house.
Okay. So the trash issue is in compliance within the compliance
Within
date?
the time frame, correct.
Okay.
The issue of the non-permitting, short of an interior inspection, I don't know how I would be able to ascertain whether work was being done or not being done.
Yeah, I think we have to take his word for that. Then.
I got a 1-year-old daughter. I can't do construction, and plus I don't have the money for that.
And what is the penalty that we're asking for here, if any?
Well, I guess what I'm asking, or based on what he has said, I mean, I'm inclined to believe him as well. I'd like to see is to get an inspection of the interior just to show that no work was being done. And I, at that point, would be willing to waive the citation and cost. So maybe a 30-day continuance.
Are you up for that?
You can come to my house. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I work out of town every day. I travel to Orlando. I traveled to Orlando this morning and then had to come back just to make this. So Monday through Friday, I'm out of town every day. That's why you can't get a hold of me on the weeks.
We'd give you 30 days time or till our next meeting.
You want that
regardless
in the form of a motion?
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like to motion that we give this man a 30-day continuance.
Second.
Moving second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay. Case 15-CE-6207. Barbara Lee Thompson.
Barbara Lee Thompson was cited for a violation of the noise ordinance and has not requested an appeal of the citation. It's a repeat violation, so the civil penalty is $100, requesting the board find a violation exists.
Well, it's just an order to pay because she hasn't requested a hearing, so she's admitted the violation.
All right.
We're presuming Barbara Lee Thompson is not present? Guess not.
Or she's being quiet now.
Yeah. So it would just strictly be the board would find that she's waived a hearing and admitted the violation and impose order her to pay the $100 penalty.
Okay. I'll make a motion then that there was a violation and that the board issue an order for payment of the $100 civil penalty.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Case 15-CE-5770, Justin Russell Flincham.
This case came before the board, and there was we need a correction on the order. Randy is here today, and the property has changed hands, so Randy's going to give us an update on the property, on the changing of hand. And then we'll clarify the order.
I'm Randall Flincham, 1953 Robalo.
You are sworn in, correct? Were you
Pardon me?
sworn in?
Pardon me?
Were you sworn in?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
The property was mine and my wife's. It's now hers only, and I've sent her all the paperwork, and I'm working with Tim on doing some changes or whatever they want.
With the property changing hands, he's legally required by the code to notify the new owner that it is under violation, and then once we can get all of her information. We will do a code compliance with her, but we just want to clarify. Is it a final divorce that she became
Yes,
the owner?
it's in her name now, but I was trying to get everything taken care of before it went to her hands
Okay.
because she lives down south.
See,
Very
we
kind
don't
of you.
see it reflected yet in the change. Do you have a copy that you can provide us of the divorce showing that the property reverts to her?
I don't have it with me. I can.
No, but you could bring
yes.
it. Okay. And then at that point, I think Tim said that we had the address for your wife, but we would like a phone number also.
I can have all that.
Okay. So if we
Yeah,
could do that.
I'll give you the letter I sent her.
Okay. So just for today, do you know the date that the property would have changed hands from you to
My
her?
lawyer just sent a quick claim deed to her lawyer, and I don't know if she's even got it yet. But that was 2.5 weeks ago, or whenever
Okay.
I met with Tim that day.
Okay.
But our divorce was final about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. So, Wayne, I think we just need a clarification on the order that the board did at the last hearing.
Yeah, the last order, it looks like it was finding there was a continuing violation. There was certain other, and this has to do with the garage being used as a residence.
Correct, which is
And the other violations were corrected, though.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we were required somehow to fine him. I don't remember because he'd paid his fine for the 2 violations. That was some
Right,
complicated mess.
and he had already paid an initial civil penalty of $50.
Yeah, and because he did that, that was
Right, that waives
construed
the
as an
hearing.
admission of guilt to everything. And,
Right.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions. Are we dealing now with his responsibility
Oh, I think
of
he
the past,
successfully.
or is that over?
Well, the way I understand it, me and my wife owned it together, so I was really, so she's going to be taking it over, so you'll probably be dealing with her.
Okay, but we're still, in my mind, still dealing with whether, if I'm correct, the property is in compliance.
Yes, we still have to solve that problem, yes.
Okay, well, then I have
Right. Mrs. Flincham, for
Yeah,
lack
it
of
just-
not knowing her name, is going to enter into a code compliance agreement to correct the non-conforming use.
Okay.
Does that mean it is going to become an apartment?
A secondary apartment, the lot size does not support. It is a non-conforming use. It will not be utilized. The code compliance will give time for the tenant to make other arrangements for a place to live.
To move?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Do we give a
So
continuance?
I think the question is, what civil penalty are you asking for the board to further
initial
assess rather than, I mean, he already paid $50 on the
Right.
citation.
I don't think that we will not go forward with a penalty since Mr. Flincham is trying to work with us and
Yeah, that was
trying to
our
convey
intent.
all the information as he gets it.
Maybe this is another one where you may want to just continue it to your next meeting for verification that it did actually change hands and the new owner is working with code enforcement to get it finally corrected.
Would she then be required to come to the meeting next time?
No, not unless she's cited and they start it'd be a new case with his ex-wife.
Right, but she is aware of the violation. Randy has
That's
dialogued
correct.
completely with her, and she does know that it's under violation and that she will be required to complete a compliance agreement with the planning director.
Yes, and I'm probably going to be holding her hand through it, but I don't know why she would need to come up here as long as we apply,
She
do
does
what
not.
we need to do, just get it done. I don't know if we need to come to, this is like my 3rd time being here.
Well,
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of the violation, or not a lot, but the city itself was partially to blame for the violation too, because the issuance of electric meters.
Yes, it's nothing I did. I bought it 20 years ago, and it was an apartment then, and it's been an apartment for probably 50 or 60 years when it was built.
Yeah.
well, since you're not the owner, when the owner comes, I will be asking the owner a couple of questions. One of the questions, when did you buy this property?
20 years ago.
You have to remember that we met 2 months ago on this, and I want to refresh my memory a little bit. And when was the electric meter installed?
Well, it was on that building when I bought it, but it wasn't. No one was living in there, and the meter was taken off. And I had to put a meter in, but the meter was the system was put in. I assume when the place was built.
And how long was the meter dead?
I have no idea. The guy that was living there was using it for storage.
And when did he move out?
He was renting the front, and he had his equipment in the back, and it was a builder here in town. I can't think of his name, but he was a relative of the one that was just up here.
And
Small town.
you say this was an apartment, correct?
There was they just called it a garage apartment on the electric bill and the garbage bill that they got from the city.
Okay. Did he have a car?
Yes, he did have a car. Do you mean
a vehicle?
The person that owned it before me?
The person we're talking about who had the garage apartment.
Well, he owned it. He rented out the house, and he used the garage apartment for storage.
So it wasn't an apartment; it was storage.
No, there was a little kitchenette in there, and it wasn't a garage door on there. He had crap thrown in there. He wasn't renting it at the time.
But it was apartment prior to that.
Yeah, it was it was an apartment. I mean, there was cabinets in there, little kitchenette, and a bathroom and shower, and the washer and dryer, which everybody uses. The house and the little house uses the washer and dryer.
And when was the curb cut put in?
January.
January.
January of this year?
I'd say that's when it became a garage. Before that, it was definitely an apartment. You couldn't get your car into it.
I think at some point the garage was converted to a apartment.
Yes.
Before Mr. Flincham purchased it.
Yeah.
So then that was the driveway. But
There was
now
no-
they had to
there
put
was
in
no
another
driveway there.
driveway to the
There was
front
no
of the house.
driveway.
Is that
They had to make a curb cut to the driveway.
for the main house?
There's an alleyway in the back.
Access to the rear of the property through the alley.
Had a driveway.
It's an alley.
Okay.
Okay.
But he had a curb cut
Had
to
the curb cut.
satisfy.
No, the curb cut was incidental. The curb cut was added because they were driving across the parking lot, the sidewalk, so they just made a driveway for the front
For the
instead
front
of
of the
street
house.
parking.
A lot of those people park on the street, but you can only park on one side.
Okay.
So when him and his wife moved in there, they had two cars and they needed a place to park.
We're going to have to probably hash all this out again. So
Yeah, we're
I
going to have
I think we got everything we needed from you
All right.
today.
Is that it for today?
That's it.
Do you need anything from us today?
No, Mr. Flincham is working with us, and as
I
soon as
agree,
he
yeah.
provides us with the
I
documentation
think it's a
that
shame
she has
he
ownership.
To be the only one to work to try to fix this. Everybody's pointing the finger at him, and
I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just looking at this piece of paper which notes by our records that it was a garage, not an apartment, by our paperwork.
That piece of paper is 60 years old. Not the actual paper, but that print. It was a garage when it was permitted.
Okay. Okay. We'll work on it
All right.
down the road.
Thank you.
So if you're
do we need a motion
continuing this, it would be to January 13th.
okay.
You want a motion?
I think we need a motion to continue it.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
All right.
I motion that we continue this case to January 13th, 2016.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Case 15-CE-6011, Bayview Loan Servicing. Oh. What's your next one? J. Okay. 15-CE-6009, First Choice Healthcare, LLC.
What happened? Oh. Okay, so I missed it.
Here it is. Here it is, Herb.
And now she's back, so we're really mixed up.
Yeah. I got J. What happened?
Yep.
H and
Okay, case number 0742T15CE6009, First Choice Healthcare, Dr. Neil A. Barbanel. I am asking for a $50 citation, $50 in enforcement costs, and continuing penalties. Case was initiated on 10/9 and was initiated by a routine patrol and a called-in complaint as well. The complaint was for overgrowth and for an unregistered and inoperable vehicle on site. On 9/9, I inspected the property, and I found that the property was in fact overgrown and that the car on site had expired tags and was inoperable by virtue of four flat tires. License plate search confirmed the vehicle and property owner to be the same, Dr. Arpanel. On 9/10, I issued the citation 0742T with a penalty. I requested a compliance date of 9/28. On 9/18, driving by there, I noticed that the property had been mowed and the landscaping was brought into compliance. That remedied one part of the citation. The other part, again, was the untagged vehicle and the inoperable vehicle, which were one and the same. He was scheduled for a 10/14 code enforcement board, and I pulled it just before the hearing because I didn't have service. I had finally, the day of that hearing, I received his certified mail back in saying he had not collected it or signed for it. However, he showed up at the hearing. Even though he didn't get service, he did get his notice of hearing service from the city clerk. We opted at that time not to hear him and move it into today. He's not here. Again, the compliance date, was scheduled for 9/28. The first hearing was 10/14. On 11/16, again driving by the property, I noticed that it was still in compliance as far as the landscaping, but the vehicle was still there. So I inspected it and saw that he had put new tags on it. However, there were still four flat tires. Yesterday, I inspected for the last time, and again, everything was in compliance except for the inoperable vehicle, which was still there and not operational with four flat tires. So again, what I'm requesting is the $50 citation that I initially issued. He did comply with 2/3 of it, but not the third. My costs, which were $50, and continuing penalty going forward.
Mr. Chairman, could I inquire of something? You mentioned that you got the notice on the citation back unserved.
Correct.
Did you subsequently post the property?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And you sent it by regular mail?
Correct. Okay. First class.
Just for clarification.
But he did show up again at the hearing, which told me he was aware of the situation.
Right.
But yes, I did.
So he put new tags on the car.
He did that. And he cut the grass, and yet the car is still very inoperable. Four flat tires are probably the least of the problems that car has. But all I can testify to is the four flat tires.
And this is one where there was no hearing requested, so that was waived, and that waiver is an admission of the violations.
All right, I'll make a motion then that the board issue an order payment of the initial $50 citation, or that there were two violations. The grass violation is now in compliance. The inoperable vehicle is not. And we issue an order for payment of the $50 civil penalty, the $50 cost of enforcement, and the $50 continuing daily penalty. And when I didn't quite get what that should start on the 29th of September.
That would start
28th. 28th was the compliance date, so
29th
next day, right? Yeah. Okay. So commencing September 29th.
So you're saying $50 a day since September?
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Why are you
Mr.
looking at me
Chairman,
like that?
may we hear case 15CE 6060 Venetian Apartments next?
Which one is that?
Right up above.
Aye.
I thought it was
Skipping
withdrawn.
Okay.
What's Venetian Apartments?
It's item I.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
15-CE-6060. Venetian Apartments, Craig Van Pyle.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, they are.
Requesting a board order for 15CE 6060. Craig Van Pyle was cited for construction of railings and a second floor balcony installed without a permit at 2545 Indian River Boulevard. Citation service was provided by certified mail. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived. The violation has not been corrected as of today. The civil penalty has been paid. The city is not asking for any enforcement cost. I have since communicated with Kathy Ergel, who has explained that there is a miscommunication with regard to his license. He is attempting to work with the state, and the building department is aware that they're trying to straighten out his license so that he can obtain the permit. We're just asking, find the property in violation, give him 30 days to correct.
Okay. Do you feel the need to say anything, or are you in agreement?
No, I appreciate
Yeah, we
officers.
appreciate that. We've been working hard to try to get this license. We got another piece of information today that didn't even go to me. It went to
He's been a
somebody
licensed
else's
contractor for over
really a
30
mess.
years. They sent his renewal to the wrong address.
Oh, nice.
And
we didn't do anything. And that's what caused this whole problem.
And I have a brain tumor, and I'm not on top of everything, so it was just a typo on their behalf, but they're making him jump through hoops.
A quick question. Do you think that 30 days is long enough?
Again, I thought that 30 days would have been long enough last time.
When he communicated.
And it wasn't. And
Well, now you have the holidays in between, and
that's what's
I
going
don't
to
know.
be
I can't
scary.
speak for the
Safely,
state.
should we say 60 days?
Could
I
you,
can't speak
could you
for the
give us
state.
60?
Absolutely.
Because we've got the forms all filled out for the permit. We just can't put the license, his license has been reinstated as far as, but it's not active. They
Okay.
did
So
that far.
we would ask that they find that a violation exists, 6 days to correct, and if it's close to the 60 days and we don't look like we're getting compliance, perhaps we should hire another contractor to pull a permit.
Okay. Thank you,
Since
officer.
the case has.
Thank you, officer.
Mr. Chairman, a
Thanks.
couple
Is that fair?
things.
That's fair. Thank you,
Ma'am,
officer.
ma'am, could you put your name on the record, please? Could you say your name?
Kathy with the C, spelled E-R-G-L-E.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you were
That work?
sworn in, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
sorry, to make you
Mr.
wait
Chairman,
so long for that.
If I could suggest,
We need a motion?
your,
sorry.
well, your February meeting is the 10th. Perhaps we give you give a compliance date of the Friday before, which would be February 5th,
Okay.
which would be roughly 60 days.
All right, I'll make a motion that there is a violation, and the violation continues, and that the board take no action until the
Well,
compliance
order them to
date.
correct by
Oh, yeah.
February 5th.
Same difference. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. So, now we still gotta go back up. There's still one person sitting out here. Shall we move? Since the agenda's all mixed up anyway. Oh, there's two of you.
Three? No.
No.
Oh, that's O'Connor. I don't have my long distance glasses on.
The gentleman in the audience is here for cases P through W.
P through W. Oh, we can get rid of
I
them.
know that. I got this one.
It comes before P through W.
Is that Jordan Buys?
M?
Yeah, Jordan.
Are you Cecil R. Bays?
I'm not Cecil, I represent City Mortgage.
Okay. We'll move to that one. 15-CE-6078, City Mortgage at Cecil R. Bays.
I believe there's several. Couldn't we
Page
handle them
3.
all in one package?
No, this is
No?
I'm sorry, which one did you just?
M?
Which one are we doing?
M.
M?
Yeah, all in 3.
Okay.
B1M.
M.
M.
I'm traveling light. I don't have to flip
M.
around.
City Mortgage.
Yep,
It's going to
that's it.
sale, right?
It is. Good afternoon. I have not been sworn in.
City Mortgage,
Have not
okay.
been sworn in.
Can you swear me?
If you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And if you'll
Before,
state
let
your
me just
name,
give a
please.
little information on the record. The requesting a board order. This is case 15-CE-6078.
No, wait a minute. Let her get his name, please. Get the record straight here.
Good afternoon. My name is Matthew O'Kell with Phelan, Allen, and Diamond and Jones, representing City Mortgage.
Can you spell your last name, please?
O'Kell, O-K-E-L-L.
Thanks.
The good news is the property's going to sale. The history of the property, the city has abated it numerous times, so this is just one last case. The property was cited for weeds, grass, and undergrowth at a height of more than 12 inches at 2245 27th Avenue. Citation service was provided by certified mail on 10/13 and is on file with the city clerk. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted. The violation has been corrected as of 10/30/15. The civil penalty has not been paid. Asking for a board order to find the property is in compliance, but a daily penalty for the days it was not in compliance from 10/23 to 10/30.
No, you can't impose continuing, not on the first hearing. It would only be the initial penalty on the citation.
Okay. Then just the initial penalty, and hopefully we have a new owner soon.
Do you have a cost of prosecution on this one? Okay. I'll make a motion that there was violation and it's
Does he want to speak?
Oh, sorry.
Just to let the board know that's correct. My client, who does not own the property, we did correct the violation. I believe it was 10/31 and 12/4. We've mowed the property. As she was saying, the property is going to sale tomorrow, so we're not sure who will be the new property owner. My client just wanted to make sure if there was a fine imposed today, it wouldn't be against us, as we're not the owner. And moving forward, whoever takes ownership of the property will deal with the fine then.
I don't know about that.
Who is the owner then?
Well, right now, currently the owner is Mr. Bays.
So are you doing a foreclosure against him?
It's a foreclosure. Judgment was entered. The sale's going forward tomorrow.
Okay, because Mr. Bays has not responded and the bank is,
Well, I think he's a deceased,
no, he's not.
isn't he? No.
No.
You're thinking of Sam High.
Oh, I'm thinking of another one. Yeah. We've got so many
years ago.
I'm unaware of his status is
or his whereabouts.
Deceased. As I said, we just wanted to make everyone aware that we have mowed the property and are working to keep it in compliance, even though we're not the owner yet. Chances are we probably will become the owner, so then we'll have to deal with the penalty at that point, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, because we're probably going to issue a penalty, and I don't know what will happen to it from there, but.
So we would ask that it be mitigated as much as possible.
Good statement.
Now, the penalty will be against the old owner?
I'm not sure. It's all kind of in the legal
it should be against the old owner.
Is it the owner that we're talking about?
Bays.
However it was cited.
Yeah, there was
however it was cited, and of
City
course it
Mortgage
references the
and
property.
Cecil R. Bays.
Okay.
I would say it's against Bays.
But
I want to just clarify it.
Speculate on what might happen.
I just want to clarify everything.
Can I make my motion now? I'll make a motion that there was a violation. It's been brought into compliance, and that the board issue an order for payment of the $50.
It's 100. It's a repeat.
Oh, it's a repeat? Sorry, that's on the next page. The $100 civil penalty.
Second.
To Civil Bays or to who?
It's whoever's on the citation.
City Mortgage.
That's the way the
and-
order will read.
Yeah.
It says City Mortgage and Bays.
Okay.
But it's going to tie to that property.
So it probably will end up. I don't know.
Our understanding is that it goes against the current owner. And as the current owner is still Cecil Bays, then it would be against him.
I think
That's
it's
what I
that's
thought.
why
Yeah.
we're just
It
wondering.
stays with the property too, though.
Should be
doesn't it?
against Bays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my question. Who is it against? It would seem
Cecil.
the old owner,
The order-
as I said.
Correct, sir.
Yeah.
The order will read just like your agenda says, City Mortgage and Cecil Bays.
City Mortgage is cited because they had been maintaining the property and then they stopped. So they were cited because we've dealt with them before, always notifying them when we ourselves had moved in and invaded the property.
And the issue is, we were working to maintain the property as it's in foreclosure, but not that we could be fined for it. So that's why we're saying that we believe
But
the
it doesn't
penalty.
sound like you're going to get stuck
If
with
that's
the fine.
what the board wants, you need to find them that City Mortgage was not responsible, but Cecil Bays was, and then the penalty would be against only Cecil in Cecil Bays' name. Still affecting the same property.
Right.
That was my question.
Yeah, I would say it should be against Cecil Bays.
A moment of levity. Can Citibank afford the 100?
I'm not sure if we can. Yes.
But how come Citibank stopped mowing?
Well, the issue that happened was when Citi or any banking institution goes to manage a property, especially before they own it, they have to put out a certain number of bids to contractors. The contractors go out there, give an estimate, come back. What apparently happened in this one is that a contractor went out there, gave an estimate, came back, was approved, mowed the property, but it was just for one time when Citi thought it was for a continuing maintenance contract, and it wasn't. So that's how come there was that time gap where there was not a continuation of the maintenance of the property being mowed. So that's how come there was the gap between the two. So at this time, I believe they're going to continue maintaining it until whether they become the new owner through the foreclosure sale or if someone else does.
Okay.
So that's why I believe Citi Mortgage was placed on there as well.
So Mr. Bays is going to have to pay the fine.
That's up to us.
It'll be paid by the new owner of the property.
Yeah.
Got it.
We have a motion.
If they want clear title.
Nobody seconded it.
Yes, there's a
Oh, we
motion
did?
and a second, yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to be clear, was the board imposing that only against Cecil Bays?
No.
No,
that No. didn't
change the motion.
Okay, didn't change it.
You had, what cases did he have? M through? P through W.
P through W.
Okay. And then we'll start with P. This is case 15-CE-6162. Jordan Buys Houses LLC. Oh, I see. They're all
If the gentleman doesn't object to combining all of them, it's just different locations, right? The same type violation?
Correct. I was going to ask if we could hear them all.
Entirely up
as
to
one.
him. Yeah, I mean, could you say your name, please?
Jordan Reeder.
Okay.
Were you sworn in?
What was that?
Were you sworn in?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Do you object to hearing all your cases at one time? I think the officer's just probably going to describe the locations of the signs.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you.
Ready?
Yep.
This case is for 8 different citations that were written for 8 different signs in different locations throughout the city. Myself and Melody, Officer Sanderson, observed many signs advertising for I Buy Houses Fast Cash, placed in locations throughout the city on Wednesday, October the 28th. A little historical information. A couple weeks prior, we had seen those signs as well, collected them all. They were back. I placed a call on the number to the sign, and I spoke with Mr. Radar and advised him that he had 24 hours to remove the signs, or else the city would remove them and issue a citation for each sign location. I waited several days. The signs were not collected. Ultimately, I ended up collecting them myself and disposing of them as per the code. Additionally, on that date, November the 4th, I issued 8 citations and mailed them collectively in one envelope to Mr. Radar. I also sent them to him first class and certified. That's pretty much it. I have no costs associated. I just would like the citation. Each of them were worth $50, 8 of them for $400. That's what I'm requesting.
Okay. Mr. Rado?
Is it okay if I speak?
Yes.
Okay. So I appreciate you guys letting me speak today because I know this is past the point where I was even supposed to be able to speak. The reason for that is because I feel like there was a miscommunication with me receiving the citations in the mail. I would have taken care of this as expeditiously as possible if I would have known about them. What had happened was I ended up getting a warning in the mail that said, if you do not cease and desist and this is a continued activity, you will be fined. And in conjunction with that, I also got a little slip in the mail that said, from code enforcement, you have something waiting for you at the post office. So I called the number that was on the warning as soon as possible and said, I'm worried that I might have fines in the mail. I have this warning right here, and I failed to collect the name of the person that I talked to, so shame on me for that. But went forward and said, I'm worried I have fines. Is this a warning or are these citations? I haven't gone to the post office and picked up, what I've been sent. They said, no, if you if you'd received a warning, it's just a warning. There's no fine. So I was like, okay. I pretty much use that as what you have is just a warning. It's not citations. Basically, I never got the citations because they're all sent first class mail, and I was never home to receive them. I just had a couple of you did not receive them. You did not receive a package in the mail slips waiting for me at home. So I had never gotten the citations personally to know that I had to address them. It pretty much went from me getting a phone call from him, letting me know of the situation. You have signs out. You have so and so amount of time to pick them up. To me getting that warning in the mail, me reaching out to somebody to try to get to the bottom of it, feeling like it was just a warning scenario, and then I ended up getting a notice of hearing. So I never felt like I got the opportunity to properly appeal to these citations. So again, I apologize for that and the lack of timeliness on that. In regards to the signs, yes, I had put them out prior to that, prior to him giving me the call. My thing is I'll put out signs in an area, and if somebody has a problem with it code enforcement wise, I won't go back out to the area. I stopped doing it. I got into trouble with this in Port St. Lucie. I learned my lesson with it. I don't want to have to deal with that, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes either. So if somebody says, please stop doing signs, I'll stop doing signs. I did not know the locations of all the signs that I had placed out. I had picked up some of them, but not all of them. I admit I did leave signs out, so I understand why I was issued a citation. But I am also trying to request if I could get it, either, reduced from like a first-time warning expense or, totally appealed. I mean, if I can't get it totally like taken out, I understand. If I can't even get a reduction, I understand. I'm willing to pay for it, but I was wondering, at very least, if I could, work out some kind of payment plan so that I could take care of this without getting, just a massive bill all at once. I'm pretty much just starting with this, so I don't have a ton of capital, and the likelihood of me shelling out like, $500 is not so great.
So after you got the phone call, you didn't really seem to act, though.
After I get the phone call, like I said, I had been up to the area a few times, and I had picked up a few of them, especially the ones that were dilapidated, because I don't like littering in an area either. I know they're considered litter, but if I put them out and then I see them again and they're, flapping in the wind because they're broken, I, immediately pick it up, because to me that's litter. What I do with the signs is just primarily advertising. So, yeah, I didn't get on top of picking them all up. I picked some of them up, but not all of them up. And part of that reason was, like I said, I didn't, know the location of all of them. I just had, a car full of signs that I just placed at random spots, and so I didn't know which ones to go back to.
So you're probably lucky that you didn't leave 20 of them out there instead of just 8.
Yeah, it could have been really bad. That's for sure.
I'm sorry?
Have you ever applied for a sign permit in any of the cities or counties?
I have not applied to a sign permit in this city because I was unaware that they were strictly enforced, and that was where I was going to back up. And under basically, if it's pretty much you got to pay a decent amount of money to have a sign permit out with all these signs, and if it was going to cost me too much, I'd rather just not put them out in an area than incur even more marketing costs. I'm not sure how much it really costs for a sign permit.
I don't know either, but I suspect it's less than $400.
Yes, it's probably,
That's right.
Yeah, it probably is.
I have a question.
Yes.
What could you be thinking when you got this letter that said warning? Isn't that a very impressive word that should kind of, get things moving a little bit? And yet you didn't.
Well, for going out and trying to retrieve them, I did not go out and try to do a more close search for the ones that I hadn't picked up. Like I said, the ones that I weren't aware of, to go out and to find all the street corners that I put them out at, no. But following that, I absolutely put no more signs out. That's like I completely stopped doing it.
But it seems to me that the word warning did not impress you. That's just my view of what you have told us so far.
I admit that, yes, I did not act on that as hardly as I probably should have.
So what were the signs that you picked up, the ones that he missed?
I
I assume so, yes. There's a few parts of his story that I'm not sure about. Do you have a copy of that warning?
I don't have a copy of that.
Because
warning.
I didn't issue a warning. I went right to citation. So I'm not sure what he's received is, I guess, my point. I don't know.
He received a phone call from you too.
Yes, that I know.
And that
I know.
means you take
That
action
was the warning.
right away.
Okay.
If I received a phone call from you, I'd take action right away.
We don't have a copy of it either.
There's a written warning?
Yes, it was just a single white typed up piece of paper I got in the mail that just said, this is a warning for these activities, cease and desist. It wasn't a citation. And that was where I got the number to call.
Well, we seem to have a little problem here. You did get a citation, though, at some point.
I did.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it was received with a court order. That was the first time I'd ever received the citation.
So we do admit that we put the signs out.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, anybody,
Didn't remember where.
does anybody want to make a motion? It's getting dark.
Do I have to be the hard guy again?
I'll make a motion to enforce the full penalty of the $400 payable in 30 days.
And
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No way of getting any payment plan worked out?
We can't, we're not allowed to do that. That's
You aren't allowed to do that? I didn't know.
Your next recourse, I believe, would be to go to the city council and ask them for.
City council? Okay.
That would be for a civil penalty reduction.
Yeah, that's what he's looking for.
And is that payable within 30 days?
Yes, that's automatically.
Okay,
it's
automatically 30 days. So you are
from the date of the order.
forewarned.
Okay, so from when do I, so if 30 days?
You have 30 days from the date of the order, and that'll be a week or so before those probably come out.
Okay, so I got more like,
Next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Five
it'll
weeks.
be next year.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
be gone next week when Sherry tells me to go sign the orders.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your guys' time.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right, so back to the beginning.
Where are we going now?
We're going to follow the agenda. We are at 15-CE-6011 Bayview Loan Servicing.
E.
E.
Yeah, I got it. E. You know what number?
Requesting a board order for 15-CE-6011. The violator, Bayview Loan Servicing, as servicer for the Bank of New York Mellon, was cited for contractor's refuse or waste left on site at 2234 18th Avenue. Bayview Loan Servicing was contacted via email on 9/10/15, and a commitment to remove the debris was received. Copies of the emails are provided with the city clerk. The debris was not removed, and a citation was issued on 9/22. Citation service was provided by certified mail on 9/28 and is provided on file with the city clerk. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of 12/9. The civil penalty has not been paid. No enforcement cost requested by the city. If the board finds a violation exists, request the board authorize the issuance of a board order, in this case for the initial penalty, continuing penalties for the days the property is not in compliance, and no enforcement cost.
What was the compliance date?
It's not in compliance.
What was the correction date?
The correction date? The original?
When do you want the penalties to start?
10/7.
10/7.
Actually, the date after would be 10/8.
Thank you.
What date would that be? I couldn't
10/8.
hear.
October 8th. All right, I'll make a motion that there was a violation. It has not been corrected, and the board issue an order for payment of the original $50 civil penalty and continuing $50 a day penalties commencing October 8th, 2015.
Second.
We okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The problem is when the contractor leaves the yard and construction waste at an empty house, then it seems like the neighbors participate in adding on to the
Oh, of
pile as
course.
well.
But then they complain too.
Very true.
May I ask a question? I mean, can the city pick it up and charge so that these neighbors are not induced to throw their garbage there?
The only way the city can pick it up is they bill the utilities, and there is no active utilities turned on
Okay.
at that property.
Thank you.
Is there a name to this Bayview Loans, to this company?
Excuse me?
It's just Bayview Loan Servicing.
They are the ones that maintain the property and cut it. I don't understand what you're asking me.
No, I was just looking for a name.
Oh.
of the person.
I have a contact that I've emailed back and forth that was provided in the backup. Irata Schwartz is the contact person who I've dialogued with.
E and F.
Okay. 15-CE-6019. This is H. ARLP Trust.
Requesting a board order for case 15 CE 6019. The violator, ARLP Trust, in care of Aquin Loan Servicing LLC, was cited for contractor's refuse left on site at 2520 20th Street. A warning citation was issued 9/14 of 2015 and no response, and the debris remained on site. A citation was issued 9/29/15 with service of the citation provided by certified mail and on file with the city clerk. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of 12/9/15, and the civil penalty assessed on the citation has not been paid. If the board finds a violation exists, requesting the board issue a board order for the initial penalty, continuing penalties, the days, an ongoing continuing penalty, and no enforcement cost. ARLP Trust is the owner of the property. They did a certificate of title for the property on 6/22 of 2015.
Okay. I'll make a motion that there's a violation, the violation continues, and that the board issue an order for payment of $50 civil penalty and $50 a day continuing penalties.
Commencing when?
October 15th.
October 15th.
Thank you. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty. 15-CE-5950, Chris R. Bowles. This is K.
This property came before the board at a prior hearing, just asking that the board find the property is in compliance as of 11/14/15. I'm sorry, yes, 11/14/2015, and stop the fine against the tenant, Chris R. Bowles, as of that date.
Okay. I'll make a motion then, unless anyone else wants to.
What was the date of correction?
November 14th.
November, thank you.
There was a violation and it's now in compliance, and we issue an order to stop the continuing penalties on November 14th, 2015.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This is O. 15-CE-1146, Francisco Flores.
Requesting a board order for 15 CE of 1146. The violator, Francisco Flores Guzman, was cited for construction of a fence without a code compliance from the planning department or a building permit from the building department at 3 Lamplighter Lane. Citation service was provided by certified mail on 11/14/15 and is provided on file with the city clerk's office. No request for a hearing on the citation has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The violation has not been corrected as of 12/9. The civil penalty has been paid. The violator has obtained their code compliance. Because the property is located at the airport trailer park, they have a form that needs to be signed by the airport authorizing them to apply for a building permit. So they are working on compliance, just asking that the board find a violation exists and give them 30 days to finish correcting.
Okay.
So it'd just be an order to correct
Correct.
within 30 days and reschedule for January 13th.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll make a motion then that there's a violation. The violation continues. The board issue an order to correct the violation, and we check again on January, what was that? 13th.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, one left. X. 15-CE-6156.
15 CE 6156, violator Kiducation. Kimberly A. Gilbert was cited for construction without a building permit from the building department. Citation service was provided by certified mail and is provided on file with the city clerks. No request for a citation hearing has been received, so a hearing to contest the citation has been waived and the violation is deemed admitted by the violator. The civil penalty has been paid and a permit has been issued. So just requesting that the board find a violation existed.
And was corrected? And whether,
It's in the process of being corrected.
Okay.
Give them 30
are we
days
stopping
to
the
correct.
fines or?
No fines.
Oh.
But,
Okay.
I mean, really, do you even need any board action if it's been corrected?
Well, it's not yet.
I'd like to see the permit finalized and approved.
Why don't you just,
Can we?
this is probably one of
put it
those
off
with
for a
a
month?
candidate for polling and just bring it back next month if it isn't corrected.
We can do that.
All right.
Really no action needed.
So do you
No
want
action needed?
a motion on continuance?
We're good.
No, I
No, they've applied for the permit and they've paid the penalty.
she doesn't really need the board to take any action. She can bring it back next month if they don't correct it, since the penalty's been paid.
Did she apply for the permit, or whoever doing the construction does the permit?
Well, welcome to the board.
You still have
You guys
another
can
item.
submit your overtime
Kirk,
request.
Mr. Noonan, you still have another item on you.
Are you sure?
Under clerk's matters?
Oh, no, I was getting to that still.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm looking forward to your
Okay.
annual report. Sherry?
I have supplied the draft of the annual report, and I will fill in the case numbers after today's meeting. So I would need a motion, if you approve of it, so I can submit it to the city council for you.
I'll make a motion that we approve of the well-written annual report.
And documented. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody
We don't
else
have a
have
chairman. Who you gonna put for
anything?
chairman?
Then we'll adjourn.
Chair.